Okay, I hope everybody had a nice weekend and getting ready to resume trading come tomorrow. Today is April 6th, 2014. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with some of the stock that got requested. I put out a little tweet to open up for requests. So I know it's a little bit short notice. Maybe a lot of you didn't have a chance to submit your requests, but try to give a little bit earlier warning or earlier notice next week. So maybe some of the stock that you're watching and it's not being widely covered on some of these blog or Twitter or stock tweet. And if you'd like to have my 2 cents of what my perspective, then I throw in my 2 cents. I mean, and a lot of these things that I put up in my analysis of the technical analysis, it's just one's opinion, one's perspective of how one see the price action. So just take it as a just a data point for you, not a data point for you to use. Either it's your prerogative to either take it and try to turn something into some form of usefulness, or you just could say, yeah, it's interesting, purely interesting, but I don't believe it, and that's fine. It's not like something that people say it has to do that or it must do that. These are all probability. Right? It's a game of numbers. So with that said, let's start off with the stock that's been requested, and I just go through, and then we end up looking at some of these high beta tech stock as well that is widely watched. But let's start off with Lionsgate Entertainment. And you can see on this weekly here, it's been coming down, and also the moving average here. Here's a 10-week moving average, which is the blue line, which is equivalent to the 50-day moving average, and also here's the red line, moving average, which is a 40-week. That's equivalent to a 200-day moving average. You can see that the 10-week is underneath the 40, and also both of them. This seems to be rolling over, and also you look at this particular support level here, that it seems to have broken this particular support recently, a couple of weeks ago. And although, I got a little bit of a bounce last week here, if you look at this weekly candle here, so, this seems to be a little bit bounced, and we're basically looking for the possibility of maybe coming down here for support. Now, the thing is, we need to see the price to get back above this baseline here, which is around this 2810. If we could get back above this 2810 and work itself back up, maybe up to these pivot point here to get back to a possibility of setting up a higher high, higher low zigzag, then we could say that this price pullback have reverse trend, and maybe it on its way back and possibly come back up and take out this high. But until that occurs, we basically have to look at it on the perspective of what the price action is now, and it's right now. It seems to tell us that it's kind of doing a little bit of a dead cat bounce, and there's also a good possibility that it could come back down to this 24 and test with the support. And if that support fail, then we have to really, take a look at this possible, inverted cup and handle, right? So if we look at this particular inverted cup and handle and put a little bit of a major move here, then we have to see, what are the possible, price target on this major move on this cup and handle, will lead us, and essentially it could take us down to this particular level here, near this 1830, 1850 maybe. So that's one of the possibility. But again, we basically need to see how we're going to hold up on this 24 level, somewhere around this 24, and maybe it will make itself back up here. So if we look at on the daily price trend here, you can see that it came up, on a daily price, right here. So it sort of came up and bumped into this resistance and then kind of, retreated. So right now we essentially want to see, can it hold above this particular pivot low here? If it can't, then we definitely need to see, will it be able to hold this particular support? If it's not, then we have to be real and say, oh, maybe it will come back down here and possibly start coming down and test these pivot level. Right, so those are the different levels that we need to keep an eye on. But if we could come back and kind of consolidate back up here and possibly move back above this particular trend line here, then it could be the next support or next potential resistance on the upside is somewhere around this 33.50 area. Okay, so right now it's pretty much neutral on the negative. If you don't have a long position, I wouldn't be looking to set up a long position. And if you have a short position, I'd basically be monitoring the stop, but I wouldn't be initiating new short position here either. So in that sense, it's kind of on hold. Right now the market is still kind of deciding how we're going to take, this market up or down. So right now, definitely it's in a flux of a lot of volatility here, and a lot of people still have a lot of different opinion, and that's why this market will be a little bit tricky in the coming days, and there will be some sucker rally here that we call dead cat bounce that will suck a lot of these dip buyer, and also will suck a lot of the short seller as well. So this is a time that we could lose money very easily. So you got to be careful and be patient. It's probably would be a best time to just stay in cash and not to worry about the missing opportunity. Because in this marketplace, opportunity is abundant, capital is limited. Remember that. Okay. So let's take a look at the other stock, and we got this new Google share, right? The Google L now, I guess we have to call it. And if we go and look at the weekly, and you can see that we have the price kind of rolling under this 10-week moving average here. Although the 40-week is still rising, but it seems like it could make itself down here, to this 505 level if it's continuing to come down. Because certainly, the last couple of weeks, Google really took a beating, and you can see that the price on a daily basis, just looking on Friday, they really took that thing, took it down, quite, see, that's quite a big amount that they took down, and you can see that on the 20-day EMA, this 20 EMA is kind of rolling under this 50-day moving average here. So right now, essentially, it's kind of holding the support here. And if we break the support, so we basically want to see kind of hold the support up here. And if we break the support, then we probably will maybe get back down to this area, somewhere around near this, 490 area, and then maybe have to watch would it be coming in and fill this gap. So those are some of the key support level. Again, on the upside, if we could get back above this particular pivot, essentially these, this particular pivot resistance here, if we could get above here, then maybe there's a sign that indicating that it might be, reversing this pullback. But for now, certainly we have to give the benefit of the doubt to the short side, right? Because you look at the MACD is also coming down. Although you say, yeah, but the histogram is up. Well, that's not what we really want to look at on the MACD, because that's only between the distance between those two lines there. Because we really want to look at the slope of these lines and where they go, the peak and valley of these lines. So you're looking at that. It doesn't indicating that there's any kind of divergence there to tell us that this downslide might be coming to a halt. But again, nothing is impossible, but we just have to be very cautious about it. So right now, I'm still kind of looking at this 540. 541 area, maybe for possible support. So determine, decide. It all depend on how this price will hold up when it get down here. Certainly, with these type of sell-off or liquidation from last week, it wouldn't be surprised us to see a little bit of a short-term relief rally to kind of get in there, because when these smart money liquidate, okay, you have to entice the other side to buy. Okay, and the only way that we could entice the other side to buy is have these short-term rallies. So these guys thinking, waiting for these dip, thinking they are buying the bargain, having bargain prices. And that's how these, that's why you see these little rally on the down market, come and go, because that's how these guys disguise, the liquidation process. They can't keep on selling and selling, on the lower and lower prices. They have to, move the price up so they could liquidate at a fairly good price for them. Okay, and also have to entice people that willing to take the share off of their hand. If it continues to slide down like last Friday, nobody want to touch it, right? So don't be surprised to see some relief rally to come in. So we get these dead cat bounce, maybe another day or so, 1 or 2 day type of rally, and then resume, on the downtrend. So that's why, for most of us, probably don't feel comfortable of shorting, and and it's best to stand on the sideline and watch and just wait patiently rather than try to force a trade to go catch these little short-term dip rebound. Okay, because unless you want to trade these, ready to do this 1 or 2 day type of a trade, then maybe you might want to look at that and trade off the intraday type of chart, not on the daily chart. But so on a swing basis right now, essentially just kind of wait and be patient. Then the another one is we're talking about Facebook. The social media stock has also got hit pretty bad as well. So you can see Facebook could be coming down and filling this price gap here, because you can see that there's a gap here, right? So it's certainly kind of broke this particular support here. Kind of tested a little bit and then finally broke on Thursday, and then Friday it's kind of come down. So look for this price gap to get filled. And if it does get filled, then we want to see would it be able to bounce off of this particular pivot low here. Okay, again, you look at the MACD, similarly to the Google L that we just looked at. Right, it's still pretty negative on a technical perspective. So kind of be careful on these Facebook. And if this thing is going to come back, we want to wait until it could come back up and take out this particular high here. If we could take out this high, then we might want to consider of maybe do a little bit of looking for a long opportunity or something like that. But until it does that, we basically have to be aware of the possibility of coming down and fill this gap and possibly overshoot. And maybe it will find some support, and then we get a relief rally and then come back up and maybe try to test this particular resistance level. Okay, so basically that's on the Facebook. And then the other one is the financial, BFA. I was in BFA, in and out for the last couple of weeks. But then, you look at this price pattern. It's a very negative price pattern. Remember when we do a combined candle here? If you take the open, okay, the open plus the close on the next candle, and this right here is like a shooting star, right? Because the open is down here and the close is down here, and the candle wick is always to the highest high. So this candle here is essentially equivalent to something like this, right? Okay. Oops, let me go get a little square here. All right. So it's basically equivalent to these two candles. Right? And this is a very bearish type of candle formation if we combine these two. So you can see that once we saw that, when BFA formed this type of price action, it just came off and it came down. And you look at it, this is look like a little bit of a head and shoulder pattern. So if you do a major move, from this this level here, then you could get let's see what that level is. So let's do a major move based on this particular baseline, right? And so let's get an arrow here. We take this and move this down, okay. And you can see that it's basically getting down to some of these price level here, or this particular pivot here. So that's so it could conceivably come down to this 1550, right? This 1550 to even possibly down here somewhere. This. So essentially, it could come down to this 1550 to 1525 area, 1520 area. So you just have to be aware of these price action pattern. And if again, I'm not saying that it's going to break down and come all the way down here, because there is some intermediate level that it also would find some support, because that's how the market works. Is that it's not going to be so obvious, cut clear, clear-cut type of a case and tell you this is, ABC is equal to XYZ. It could be ABC all of a sudden throw a curveball and say it's equal to 1, 2, 3. Right? I say, well, where the hell does that come from? We're dealing with letters, and then all of a sudden the number come in, right? So that's how the market works, right? So never take anything for granted, or as soon as you feel that you got it all figured out, the markets always have a way to humble you. So just stay flexible and stay open. So we're basically looking at this on the B of A. And again, there are some other trend line that we're looking at. For example, we got this trend line here, so maybe it is holding this support. So we might see a little bit bounce. Okay, even though if it break down, and let's say break this baseline, remember different breakdown or breakout. There's certain characteristic of price pattern or price action that tend to have a higher probability of successful breakout or breakdown versus low probability of success. Because you look at this, if you invert it, just like when we're playing a breakout, it take a lot of seller to push the price all the way down here. So we probably exhaust most of the seller. So if it come down and break, the chances are we might get a little bit of a false breakdown initially and then come back up. It's the same thing when we go on a breakout. Right? That's why, when you look at these type of pattern, what you want to do is you want these things to slowly creep up to that baseline, either breakout or breakdown. Then it pushes over, right? Then you could have and those type of breakout or breakdown have a higher probability of success than a fake one. Right? So you got to be aware of that. So I'm not saying that it won't. It's just that the probability. Right? Anything is possible. Right? So who say that we won't have a big sell-off on Monday, on tomorrow, and take this thing down all the way down in one scoop, right? And then bounce back up, and then all of a sudden we get this little hammer candle, and then everybody jump in. Right? So those are all possibility. But again, on the technical analysis, you just kind of prepare ourselves with these possible scenario and what's most likely and what's most unlikely. Right? It's not this most. There's nothing certain. Right? And I said, the only thing that is certain is that we will lose money in this game, one time or another. Okay, right? If you say you won't, then hey, more power to you. So those these B of A, and the other one again this Apple. We always look at Apple here. So in terms of Apple, it still seems to be trying to get up to this baseline here, this 551 level. And it's still having a difficult time. And even though you got this wedge, you can look at this, or you look at here. Depending how you look at it, it's still sort of holding up, but I think it's getting a little bit of a negative because you look at these 50-day moving average up here, around here when it was over here somewhere. You see it's kind of flattened out. Maybe it's kind of turning up, but then right now it's kind of changes tone. It's kind of sliding down. Okay, and also you look at the 20 EMA, although the price also got below that 20 EMA, and also you can see the EMA may be turning down. So we could be, coming back down and might to retest some of these level here, okay, and then set it up to try one more time to get up, maybe shake some of these people out again and wait until the earning. This time we'll fool everybody, right? The last few times when earning come out, it sold off, and this time when earning come out, maybe everybody went in and buy. So we don't know. So those are the kind of scenario that we have to be aware of. It's not saying that it's going to happen. It's just that we have to be aware of them. Okay? Because you look at the MACD is showing a little bit of a positive divergence here actually. So it's still pretty a little bit positive. You can see that it is turning down a little bit, but again, just be cautious. Okay? And then you look at Amazon. The Amazon again. Essentially we're looking at these H pattern. Right? Remember I was talking to you about these H pattern. Right? Once you break these H pattern, and essentially it is, another form of, if you really look at it, it's Fibonacci retracement. Okay. So if we do this, let's say this is the the baseline here, the support here, okay, and we're basically looking at this this particular pattern here, all right, okay, this as an H pattern. So when it broke below this 34, 343, you can see that it come down and it tagged this 141. It's at 316. It's pretty much close to this this gap here. So depend, it could come down and fill this gap, right, and overshoot it a little bit, and that's where we'll bring it down to that 168, which is somewhere around the 303, 304 area. So there could be some more downside for Amazon, right? And so that's one possibility because you look at this when it come down here and then we trace back up to that 382, and these are the potential or what we call the retracement zone where we find these the 382618 and the 50% level could be potentially either support or resistance depending on the direction of the price. Okay, so right now you can see that it encountered these level as resistance and retreated back down and then broke this 343. So although it's make a little bit of an attempt to try to get back above it and got a little bit of a fake here, and then it just resumed back down. So right now, Amazon is still fairly negative. Could be coming down to fill this gap here. See. So although we are seeing a little bit of a sign that we are getting some positive divergence on the MACD, so maybe we will get a little bounce here after maybe kind of spook the last weekend out with this gap fill, and maybe then it might come back up a little bit and get a little bounce. So who knows, right? We are guessing. Okay. And then Netflix, again, Netflix is coming down and possibly filling this gap here, this price gap, getting close. Although the MACD is still pretty negative because you see the MACD is lower than this low here, and the price level here is lower, still lower than this price level. So there could be a little bit more downside from the price. Okay, so we just have to keep an eye on Netflix here because right now essentially looking for Netflix to possibly come and fill this particular gap here. Okay. And the other one, Tesla. Okay, Tesla is also kind of rolling over. You can see that the it tried to make a little bit bounce back up. It came down and filled this gap. And right now, again, you take a look at this H pattern. Right? So I have to look at these H pattern. Right? So you came up to this 50% point. Right? You try to, come up to this 50% and then, backed off from it. So right now we're basically looking for that 202 for support. If it come down to this, break this 202, the chances are we probably will come and test these kind of, first, this low pivot here. Maybe we see a little bit of a, support when it break that. Then we will have to look at somewhere around these level here, these type of pivot here at this 180, near this 180 level. Okay. So, although the, MACD is kind of flattened a little bit, so maybe, in the near term, the selling might be starting to slow. But again, I don't think this, this downdraft here is over with until we see, once again, we have to see, technical confirmation to tell us that the trend have changed or the price action have, changed from the current sentiment. Okay, right now the current sentiment is on the downside, and until we see that, get back up to some of these pivot level, then to start seeing a effort of making this higher high, higher low, then we have to go with the trend of the price action, which is on the downside right now. And if you look at Twitter, right, Twitter, we talk about Twitter. A lot of people was looking for this gap fill, right? When it was down here. A lot of people was looking for this particular gap fill. And what I'm saying is that if you can't get up and fill this little gap, forget about it, right? Because we are saying, look at this is the IPO high here. And if we break this IPO high, we could be conceivably looking at to come down and test this IPO low. So right now it's essentially coming down to test this particular pivot. Right. So once again, these H pattern, you have to, look at these things as they stand because, like I said, this, the human behavior of this emotion of what we call fear and greed, it's never changed. So, that's why these price pattern always repeat itself. And so you can see that even if we take this particular, fifth swing and here come up to this particular 618 and then come back down, and book this baseline here at this $50 level or so, and now it's come down to this 127, which is at 43 level, and look at where's that 141. It's somewhere around the 39 area, pretty near the IPO, post IPO low here, right? So if we say, well, maybe we're looking at this particular, this particular swing here on the fib instead of that upper one. Okay, so we could see that, right? So again, we could see that once it broke this 50, and here it come down to this 141, somewhere around the 143 level, and got a little bit of a testing of support here. But take a look at that 1618. Again, it's near this post IPO low, that near that 39. So we have two set of Fibonacci swing that there may be this one set of fib traders looking at this particular peak, and another set of fib trader looking at this peak. So again, nobody say which one is right or wrong. We're basically looking for confluence. Don't trade off of these fib level. Okay. Just use these as confirmation of for confluence to see where or some most likely price action will converge, and we will see some price reaction, right? Okay. So you can see that this 39 could conceivably be a line in the sand that we're going to see some battle there. Okay. So just keep an eye and be open-minded. Not saying that it's going to for sure that it's going to come down here. Who knows? We might reverse and come back up here and then start making a higher high, and then just go back up and tag this $75 level and make a new high, right? So that's a possibility, but is it probable right now? Not likely, but you never know. It's a number game. We all guessing. Come on, folks. Okay. Now, but again, let's be a little bit serious. We are putting, some judgment based on, some of the price action of what most probable might occur. Not say that it will, but the probability of it to occur, right? And that's basically what we are trading off, probability. Okay, so hopefully, you haven't been beaten up too badly last week. And for the coming week, hopefully things will be a little bit better, but don't be surprised that we will see a little bit increase in volatility. So I think right now the best bet is probably just be a little bit patient and wait for the setup. Wait for something that you feel comfortable with. We don't have to trade. That's the nice thing about individual discretionary trader, trading for yourself or something like that. Is that you don't have to trade every day. Okay? All right. So good luck to you on the coming week.